I was broke and broken. I was going through a divorce. I was there with my 3 children at the time. I didn't even realize I was depressed. Some of you were sitting here and you work 50 or 60 or 70 hours a week and you don't have $300 to rub together. I didn't really have it. I borrowed it from my rent. I invested $300 and I had my money back in 48 hours. Everything was in Spanish. I don't speak Spanish. I didn't know sales. I didn't know marketing. I didn't even have a computer. It wasn't a company that changed my life. It was my decision to become a professional network marketer and to go all in. I got to the top and I didn't cold message one person.
Hey network marketers, if you want to know what sets the top leaders apart in this business, you've come to the right spot. We are a sales and marketing agency working with the best in the business. And in our podcast, we are diving deep into their secrets. From mindset to recruitment to onboarding like pros, we're here to show you how they do it. Plus, we've got actionable steps you can use to rise to the top, no matter where you are in your journey. Get ready to level up and dominate. Welcome to the MLM Duplication Podcast.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the MLM Duplication Podcast. My name is Tika and I'm here with my co-founder Nenad, and we are joined by Nina Murer. She's a powerhouse in the network marketing industry, and she's also a speaker, coach, and an author with a heart for helping others. From her humble beginnings in North Philly to building a global business, Nina's journey is all about resilience, service and empowerment. She's grown her network of over 500,000 customers, earned millions in online sales, and now runs Nina Murer Incorporated, where she helps women grow personally and professionally with practical tools and programs. She's passionate about wellness and making a difference in her community. She's also a proud wife, mom of 4, and a grandma to 2 adorable grandkids, all while continuing to inspire people worldwide. Nina, welcome to our podcast. We are so happy to have you here.
Thank you so much. This is so amazing. I am so grateful to be here and honored and humbled. When you're able to tell your story, you ignite another level of passion inside of you. So I'm grateful to be here.
Let's speak about how did you got here? When did you first start? Who introduced you to network marketing? And I just mentioned that you have a passion for health. Was it that got into it? Or can you tell us about your story?
You know, what's interesting about it is that I was broke. That's what really got me into network marketing. I was broke, and I find that there are two kinds of people. There's the kind of person that's broke and they see the opportunity and they kind of go for it. Then you've got the kind of person that says they're broke. They think they want change, but they don't want to do the work that you must put in to achieve what it is that you're really looking for. And so what happened for me was I was invited to a meeting. Someone lied to me to get to a meeting, and a family member sold me a garment. Sold me a garment. She never said it was network marketing. She never told me how much she made from the product. She sold me the garment and she went on her way. I was wearing the garment. A young lady saw me at church. She said, "Are you in this body?" It was a body magic. She said, "Are you wearing a body magic?" She said, "I can tell you're wearing one." And I said, "Yeah, I bought one from my cousin." She invited me to what she said was a modeling, like a fashion event. So I went to this event on a Monday night where they were putting other women in these garments. And she asked me, "Did the person who sold you the garment, did they tell you how much they made off the garment?" And I said, "No." And when she told me, because I was broke and broken. I was going through a divorce. I was there with my 3 children at the time. One was going to college, one was going to high school, one was going to elementary school. And I didn't know how I was going to make ends meet with a son going to college, going through a divorce. I was struggling with depression at the time. I didn't even realize I was depressed. My credit score was really bad because I was going through this divorce, and I get invited to this meeting. And as I'm sitting there in the meeting, I felt like challenged from the woman that was giving the presentation when she said, "Some of you are sitting here and you work 50 or 60 or 70 hours a week and you don't have $300 to rub together." And I didn't really have it. I used it. I borrowed it from my rent. I joined the company, and that same person who sold me the garment saw me at a meeting on stage because I joined that company, and immediately that thing inside of me, that instinct to survive, it kicked in. And I started making a lot of money. And that's not a normal story, but it was my story, right? I started making a lot of money. They put me on stage to start doing presentations. And that young lady stood in the back of the room, and when she saw me walk beside her, she said, "Why didn't you tell me you wanted to join?" I said, "Why didn't you offer me the opportunity?"
Hmm. But can you walk us through the time, like when you joined? First, why did you? Was it because just you didn't have any other choice and you felt like, yeah, I gotta do this, or you were attracted by the opportunity itself of how much money you can earn? And can you walk us through how long it took you to get on that stage and earn that money?
Absolutely. So in 2008, I was introduced to the idea of network marketing. And when you're going through a divorce and you've got three children, you can't you can't squeeze. I was a hairstylist, 27 years I spent in the industry. I couldn't go work a part-time job and take care of my kids as a single mom. And so when I sat there in that meeting and I realized that I could still work in the salon but make extra income, I decided, yeah, I can do this. I can do this. It's not going to take me away from what I do already. And so I am not the normal story. I know that when I tell you I started making money immediately, I invested $300 and I had my money back in 48 hours. I know that that's not normal. Most people are not going to have that story. But I have no college degree. I have no university degree. I had my first son when I was 15 years old. So I don't come from a gold spoon in my mouth. I all I knew was to hustle to make it happen. And so when I was given the opportunity, the same opportunity that everyone else in that meeting had, there were probably over 150 people in the room that night. We were all afforded the same opportunity, but I heard it, and there was that thing inside of me that when I saw people that looked like me, African American women and men that looked like me on stage, that were telling stories about how they, were incarcerated and now they're making money through network marketing. I realized that you could come from jail or Yale, you didn't need a degree. And that's what happened as I sat in that room and I saw people that looked like me, they sounded like me. They had stories like mine. They didn't go to college, and I thought that the only way that you could make money was if you went to college, because that's what we were taught. You got to go to school, then you got to go to college, then you got to work 40 hours a week for 40 years to make some money. And I knew that that wasn't my story. I didn't like school as it was, right? And so for me in 2008, when I saw that, I did start making money immediately. I had no idea what I was doing. I was ignorance on fire. So if I was to say something to the person that's watching this, right? And maybe you're a first timer and maybe you've heard negative things. I had heard all those negative things. It's a scam. It's a scheme. It's a Ponzi. Don't do it. My family was teasing me about the fact that I had joined this network marketing company. I went through it all. And I decided, you know what? I don't care what y'all say. I knew that there was no other way that I could make extra income, and I saw an equal opportunity. What I would say to you all is most people don't make money in network marketing because they won't take action. They feel like they have to know everything. I didn't understand the comp plan at all. And at that time in that company, you had to go 10 wide. 10. Like, you guys, you're not network marketers, but you hear the stories, right? Now you might have to enroll 2 or 3, maybe even 4, but we had to enroll 10 people. I didn't know sales. I didn't know marketing. I didn't even have a computer. The company that I joined, here, Tika, here's where it gets interesting. The first company that I joined, everything was in Spanish. I don't speak Spanish. All the literature was in Spanish. I don't read Spanish. I mean, I know a little bit. Hola, buenos dias. That's the normal Spanish. You would have to sit on the phone for hours to get through to customer service, to get them to pick up the phone, to try to place an order. And guess what would happen? We would get on the phone, they would answer the phone, and sometimes you would say hello, and they would start trying to talk to you, and then the phone would disconnect. After you sat there for 2 and 3 hours waiting to put an order in. We have luxuries today that were not afforded to us in 2008. But what I understood was I had no other options, that my back was against the wall. I was an uneducated, although I graduated high school. I don't have a university degree. I'm a teen mom. The stigma is on me, right? From the world. I'm the pastor's daughter who's going through a divorce. Secretly on the inside, I don't even want to live because I'm ashamed of what I've been through and what I'm now going through. And I had no other choice. When I was invited to that meeting, it was as if I was in an ocean and I couldn't swim, but somebody threw me a life raft. And I took the opportunity and I ran with it.
It's an amazing story, and what I'm thinking now is you're there, and I don't believe that investment in starting the business was small, right? So have you shared that with someone, or was it you with your own thoughts and just deciding, okay, maybe I don't have right now that much, but I'm gonna go all in and just see what and how I can work this out for me?
You know, I would probably never suggest to the average person that they take their rent money and start a business,
Mhm.
right? I would never, and the reason why I won't suggest that, I'm just really kind of telling my story, is because you might not have, or they might not have the mindset that I had to, no matter what happens, I'm going to make this work. And what I realized is that I had influence that I didn't know I had. And the reason why is because we oftentimes view ourselves through these lenses of what we've been through in life. And we think that we're not significant or we're not worthy of someone following us or listening to us. But what happens is in network marketing, especially, is we make decisions for people. You don't know if that person, how about this? On the outside, you guys, I looked like everything was okay. On the outside, I looked like I wasn't broke. My hair was always done. I dressed very well. My kids looked good. On the outside, no one knew that I was broken and most nights crying myself to sleep on the outside, which is why you can't make a decision for anybody because you're making a decision based on the fact that somebody looks good. You don't know if they're one paycheck away from being out in the street. And so I would want to encourage every single one of you that are listening, that are going to watch this, and maybe you need to hear my voice every single day. You need to listen to it over and over and over again, that you cannot make decisions for people. And quickly I learned that no never means no. I learned that no always means not right now. And so I did very well in my first company, and because I did very well in my first company, people thought, Nina, come to my company, because if you come to, because I'm a rookie, I don't know anything. I'm doing well and I don't know anything. I don't know, but I'm hearing all these people now. Nina, come join me and come join me. So I had a cousin that said, Nina, come do Mary Kay. Well, guess what? I wear makeup now, but I didn't wear makeup then. So I didn't do so well at Mary Kay because I was not a makeup girl. Well, my brother said, Nina, come join me in this company called Five Links. I joined the company. 2 years in the company, and I made $50 in 2 years. I had no clue what I was doing. I was giving presentations, but couldn't figure it out. And then when I was getting remarried, 2012, I got remarried. I joined a few companies that had some health and wellness products because I was on, I used to be 300 pounds, 300 pounds. And then I kind of hovered around 260 pounds or so. And I wanted to lose weight. But in 2014, when I decided, as you can see, there's awards all over the shelf behind me. In 2014, I made a decision that I wanted to go pro. I had been to the conferences. I had heard you need to do personal development, but I had convinced myself that I didn't have time for personal development. I had convinced myself, well, I don't like to read. And in 2014, I joined a company August the 16th of 2014, a detox company. At that time, the company was called TLC, or Total Life Changes. And that is when it wasn't a company that changed my life. It was my decision to become a professional network marketer and to go all in.
What
That's
does
what it
that mean? What does that mean to you said I went pro. What does that mean in your words?
What it means is I, number one, started to put in pro hours, right? So in anything that you do, you got to give it 10,000 hours to become a pro. Anything, whether you want 10 or more. It took me over 10,000 hours to become a professional hairstylist. Doctors, lawyers, anybody's going to spend at least 10,000 hours or more learning their craft. And so I realized that all of those years of just kind of dibbling and dabbling and having a hustler's mentality about the industry and the profession, what happened in 2014 was I actually decided to be a professional. And so what that means is I started really investing time in reading and studying the craft and studying sales and studying marketing and studying personal and professional development and listening to things that would make me a better person. I stopped watching a lot of TV. Now, let me say this. I don't think the TV is a bad thing. I think that TV is a bad thing when you've got goals. And I started doing the things like writing a list. So you hear that you should write a list. You should write a list. It's the first step. Gotta write a list. You gotta write your why. But in all of those previous companies that I was in, I never wrote a list. I thought that my talent would take me to the top. Talent gets you in the door. Talent doesn't keep you in the door, right? So it'll open the door for you. And because I was talented and I didn't even know I was talented until I started to get involved, I thought that that was all I needed. But I realized that it's like building a house. You don't put the roof on the house before you put the foundation down. And most people won't take time to build the foundation, which means, why do you even want to do this? Because what happens is when people tell you no, when shipping is delayed, when a product comes and the package is bursted, when a customer is complaining that they didn't get their order, what is it that's going to drive you to keep you in the company? It's not because it's got the best compensation plan. It's not because the products are so great. No, it is because I look down at that why and I say, I am doing this for my children. And what I found through the years is most people start off saying, I'm doing this for my kids. And it's one of their reasons why. And then they allow that same reason to be the reason why they don't do it. Oh, well, I can't do this because of my kids. And you said you were doing it to give you more time freedom to be with your children. And so I started reminding myself of the why I started. I was always a person who would attend all of the meetings. I would show up. But what would I do afterwards? What books were I reading? So now there are probably thousands of books in my home. All around me, there's shelves all around me. There are thousands of books because now I invest time in becoming a better version of myself every single day.
That's very interesting you said, because that's very, I would say, common with all network marketing leaders, like this personal development stuff. And we hear this all over, like on the podcast. It's basically, they say like most people come into network marketing because of the money, but stay because of personal development. And the way you connect this by becoming a pro and putting in the hours, it's really interesting. How did you manage to do that by, or at the same time having kids, 3 kids? How do you manage all that?
Well, technology put us in a position to be able to listen to the personal development versus having to always have a book in your hand.
Mm.
And I utilize technology, and one of the biggest gifts or the greatest gifts that I have is the ability to pivot. A lot of network marketers struggle today because they want to continue doing things the way they did them, the
Yeah.
way they gained success 20 years ago, 10 years ago. But the way that we did things 20 years ago is not the same way that things are done now. And that is because the gift and the curse of social media, right? And I'm going to call it a gift and a curse. It's a gift because I can reach more people at one time through a post or through a reel or through a Facebook Live or Instagram Live, a TikTok Live, right? Snapchat, LinkedIn, Pinterest. There's so many different sources for you to use when it comes to social media. The gift that we've been given to be able to reach more people, where before we used to have to sit on the phone and dial, call all of these people, try to get them to a meeting, come out to the hotel. When after COVID hit, a lot of those hotel meetings and all of that stuff, everything had to stop. Well, it's a gift because, yes, you have the advantage of being able to reach more people, but it also made networkers very lazy.
Yes.
It made the world lazy, and so I got remarried. My husband, although at the time he didn't really want to be a part of network marketing because he had seen so many people fail at it. But he was a smart man because he knew to support me. So although he wasn't a fan of the profession, he was supportive of me and he believed in me. So I would say that having a strong support system is very key. But let me say this, although he supported me, my husband at the time was very moody and very negative minded, meaning he was a pessimist. Where I was an optimist, he was a pessimist. And what happened was, because of all of the personal development that I was doing, and I'm talking to the married people right now, or if you're considering marriage, you need to hear this. I was doing all this personal development, and like you said, we joined for the money, but it really it begins to turn into who you're becoming, not just what you're earning. I was becoming a very different version of myself, but my husband wasn't. And so it was very important for me. He is not the same person now. I was able to retire myself fully in January of 2015. I walked away from being a cosmetologist after 27 years. And then October the 30th of 2021, I retired my husband. He was finally ready, and so it took a longer time for him, but because I was blasting the personal development all over the house, right? And not really watching TV and all those things that I used to do, where I literally used to sit and watch the shows like Scandal and stuff that just did not make me a better person. At the end of the day, I stopped watching TV and started replacing it with personal development. And guess what? To this day, even our 10-year-old daughter, she doesn't watch TV. She might watch YouTube, but she doesn't watch TV. And that is because she grew up in an environment that was conducive to growth. She grew up in an environment that was conducive to hearing nothing but personal development. And so, guess what? At 10 years old, at 5 years old, she loves being in the rooms. She loves the personal development. She loves meetings when we do have them, and trainings, because she was hearing it while she was younger. And that's all she knows now is personal development and growth.
This really reaffirms my belief that whatever you put in your brain, your life will be like that. And you're putting these like positive affirmations, like that, positive beliefs, and which make you believe in yourself and make you take action. And that's the most important. Let's speak about your. You said that you were a hairstylist, right?
Yes.
Uh, how How much that helped you? What do you think? Because you were naturally surrounded by a lot of women, so you had a customer base already that you can talk to. Do you think that that affected your speedy success in network marketing?
100%, 100%. So what I learned and is that people don't realize they have a skill set from whatever job they're doing right now. And all I did was transfer the skill set. So what I had was I had an amazing work ethic because I showed up at 6 a.m. a lot of days on the weekends, like Saturday mornings. I was at the salon at 6 a.m. because I wanted to be out of the doors by like 2 o'clock in the afternoon because I had children to get ready. I wanted to get home, go do my grocery shopping, make my dinner for Sunday, get ready for church, and things like that because I was a worship leader at my church as well. And so I went to work at 6 a.m. Saturday mornings so that I could be done by no later than 2 o'clock in the afternoon to then give my children back their mom, especially while I was a single mom. I realized that I had influence over people because when someone allows you to do their hair or their makeup or you go to the barber, you trust your barber, right? And so because you trust the stylist, you trust your makeup artist, you trust your doctor, you're pretty much going to listen to whatever they say. But when you are a product of the product, when people see that you're losing weight, or if you say that you've got a product that's going to brighten your teeth or tighten your skin or grow your hair, if you look like the product is working for you, that is when the product sells itself. I actually hate to hear people say that. Well, the product sells itself. No, it doesn't. The product only sells itself when you are a product of the product. And because I lost 175 pounds and I've kept that weight off, and here I am now, 10 years later, still 125 pounds. I lost the weight in 2014. By 2015, it took me about 16 to 18 months to really get to the size that I wanted to get to. And then I'm 52 years old now. When I turned 50, that's when I realized I had like another 15 pounds or so that I kind of really wanted to get off. And I started working out even more, like working out vigorously and really, really wanting and desiring to look not just small or slim, but healthy. I wanted to be healthy. So for those of you that are watching and you're in the health and wellness space, right? And I know this one's probably going to sting. This is probably going to be a little violent when I say this. There are too many people who are in the health and wellness space that don't look like they sell a health and wellness product. It's the reality of it. Why do people still today? I can show a person my before and after picture from 2014 and they will buy the product from me. And the reason why is because not only did I lose the weight, but they look at me now and I look better now, 10 years later, almost 11 years later, than I did when I started the journey. And so being a product of whatever product you're serving, selling, or I don't even like to say sell because I don't sell anything, but I do share opportunities with people and I tell testimonies. I would 100% say this. I don't sell. What I found is better than any product information sheet, better than any ingredients list is personal testimonies from your clients. And because I am able to provide people with the personal testimonies from clients that I still work with today, that is because that is when the product sells itself. Not only am I having results and still today having results from the products that I use, my clients are having success. So if you say that you're in the crypto space, because I'm also, also now doing financial literacy, and I mean, anybody that's not blind can see that crypto is taking off and we're on a bull run right now, right? And investing. So I am now investing. Can you show someone that you've invested and made some money? Before they're going to believe in you, they want to see the results of what you're doing. If you say that you're sharing travel, did you make, okay, I see that you've taken some trips. but did you make some money from the trips? You got to be able to show people the proof of what you're doing. And I'm not saying show them your back office and you got to show them how much you've made, but you definitely have to show people that what you're doing works and it's working for you.
That's very interesting in that space, like health and wellness. Like you're completely right. I think be product of the product, because if you, that's the ultimate social proof that you can show to someone. Hey, look at me. I look like that before. But what would you suggest for people who joined that type of company, health and wellness, but they are already slim or whatever, like they look good? So what they can do in that?
You sell other people results. So I'm slim, right? I am now slim and I am still repping wellness products, detoxing, weight loss, and even a candy that works like those shots without all those side effects, right? But now there's differences. I actually approach people who are slimmer now because people that are slim want to stay slim.
Yeah.
Women that are in their 40s and 50s, and men too, because what men are a little vain too. They don't want to let you know that they're a little vain. They are looking in the mirror and they're looking at the side to make sure that their gut is not hanging out. But what I've found is that wellness is not just weight loss. And that is where a lot of people kind of get stuck. They only think that a person who's overweight wants the products, but wellness is overall wellness. So now, as a woman who's 52, my peer group has changed. And the people that I have influence over, they're no longer just in their 30s. They're now in their 40s and 50s and 60s. And they're going through perimenopause and menopause and postmenopause. And a lot of women now are having a hard time, whether they're heavier or smaller like myself. They're having a hard time keeping the weight off. They're having a hard time with energy, focus. A woman who is in their 40s or 50s, they're moody. They're moody right now. They're hormonal and they're moody. And so you got to find, it doesn't matter what size you are. You got to find the thing. Maybe it's energy. Bigger than weight loss, there are a lot of people that can't sleep. And so if you can't sleep, if you're not sleeping properly, you're not losing weight. If you're not sleeping properly, you're waking up and you're very angry or moody all day. And men are also, as they're aging and they're losing testosterone, men are also moody when they're aging. So I am very open to promoting every facet of wellness. Where it used to just be weight loss, I am now talking about holistic and total wellness so that we're adding more life to our years. And I'm also teaching people to be proactive and not reactive, because there are people that have a heart attack and they look like me. They work out every day. And with cardiovascular disease being the number one unaliver amongst African American women, I am more passionate about that than just weight loss. I know that if we get the weight corrected or fixed, or at least on a better track, then all of the other things in your health will start to improve. And so I would say to you, just because you're small, I use other people's testimonies and I am focused on total wellness and not just weight loss.
Let's speak about social media. You're big on social media. Can you tell us, how did you start? Did you had some content strategy, or was it just like, hey, this is me? What was the whole thing about? And can you tell us how it affected your business? How do you get the leads there? What do you post and stuff like that?
That's interesting that you would ask that. I started by accident. So I started in when I started in 2014. At that time, I had one social media platform it was like MySpace, and then MySpace. I really didn't know how to really work MySpace or anything like that. I had an account, and then it's kind of let it fizzle out. And then maybe in 2013 or so was when I actually got a Facebook page, but I really didn't do much with the Facebook page. My kids were mad that I had a Facebook page. My son's like, "Mom, I'm in college, just for the college kids," and I said, I'm using this too. And so I got on Facebook, started, friending my peers, my clients, my people at church, and things like that. And when I joined the company in 2014, I did a video where I was boiling water. It was an awful video, and the video went viral. And then at the time, I mean, I guess whatever viral was then, it wasn't the millions, like you need millions of views now. I was very awful at social media, but I did it anyway because I didn't really have computer skills. When you're a hairstylist, you don't need a computer. You don't need to do all of that. And so I was using my phones to watch videos and shows, and we were on social media talking about the TV shows. And so I recorded that video. It kind of went viral. People started asking me, and what I did was, because I made a decision in 2014 that I really wanted to beat the battle of the bulge. And I asked the people on social media to hold me accountable. After asking them to hold me accountable, I said, does anybody want to go on the journey with me? I promise you, I had no idea what I was doing. It all happened by accident. Um, and people started following me. People started reaching out so that they were meeting me at gas stations and at malls and everywhere to get this product that I had, because they could see that it was working for me. And then I started just building a team all over the world because people were watching me on social media. And I'm like, who knew? And I didn't know what I was doing. I was just friending people. Here's the crazy thing. In 2014, 2015, I never cold messaged one person. I got to the top and I didn't cold message one person. After social media, after building on social, like, doing videos. And at the time, I think you could only do like on the Instagram, when you started being able to go do videos on it, was like 15-second videos. And it was so bad. My kids, my oldest kids were telling me, Mom, you're awful. Like, it's awful. Stop talking so long. Like, stop it. And they were trying to coach me through, because they said I sounded so bad. It's so bad, Mom. And I started getting it down pat where I was able to say what I needed to say in 15 seconds. But then they gave us 30 seconds. Then they gave us 60 seconds. And I was able to speak a lot longer. So honestly, you figure I've been a professional network marketer since 2014. And I would probably say it wasn't until this year that I even started cold messaging people. I never, ever cold messaged anyone. I hosted meetings and I hosted parties. So I love to entertain, and I love when people entertain because I love to have fun. I know how to bring a very fun environment to a home party. And I was probably the queen of the home party. And then I taught my team how to vend. And I'm very good at vending, even though to now, 10 years later, I really don't enjoy vending like I used to, but I know that it's necessary. We moved from our home in Philadelphia, we moved to Georgia, and I know how important it is to get the product in people's hands, to get your product in new people's hands. And I do very well vending because I'm a very personable person. But believe it or not, as much as I'm talking to you right now, I am an introvert.
What?
That's impossible.
I am an introvert. I don't like having to talk.
So how did you enjoy parties? That is my question
Yeah,
now, because
that
introverts,
goes
they are
against.
like, just don't get me to any party.
Because I like having fun, but I want it for that moment, and then I'm going to be done. I learned, to all of you introverts that are watching, I learned that most celebrities are introverts. And when I learned that most celebrities are introverts, Beyonce is an introvert. She's the biggest celebrity right now, aside from Taylor Swift, right? And Taylor Swift is an introvert. And
Yeah.
most actors are introverts, right? And although they're introverts, they give themselves, think about it. Beyonce says, and I'm not like trying to promote Beyonce, because I mean, she's great. My kids love her, but I'm not like a super fan or anything. But I respect her hustle. I respect her craft and her gift. Beyonce says in order for her to perform, she becomes Sasha Fierce. On stage, she says she's in the mind frame that she's Sasha Fierce. So when I know I have to speak, and I'm very good in front of the room, I'm gonna close your entire room. When I know that I have to go do a party, when I know that I'm going to vend, I'm talking to myself the whole time, like, okay, Nina, lights, camera, action, lights, camera, action, lights, camera, action. And I know that I gotta turn it on for that event or those hours or that moment. And then I'm able to turn it off when I'm done. So I learned to give myself permission to have extroverted moments, but I can be an introvert all day.
That's interesting. When I think about influencers nowadays, most of them are introverts as well. But
Yeah.
what is that inside you that it's like, is it like that you have to put your voice out there because you're keeping it to yourself, but you have opinions on everything? What is something that makes you feel so comfortable with camera that you are like that extroverts are struggling actually? Like extroverts are struggling to, for example, myself. I cannot like watch myself on the camera, and I'm extroverted guy. But introverted people are like, yeah, sure. And then they record themselves and like, hey, world, watch me. Isn't that interesting? Why
It
is
is.
that?
So you got to know who you are and what you want. So I understand personality traits, and I am what I like to call a shark whale fin, meaning show me the money, because at the end of the day, I'm about my money, right? Show me the money, but I really do love helping people. And then I like to have fun. So because of my personality, what happens when I'm sitting here and I know, like yesterday, I did awful. I'm sorry. Yesterday, I did really good with my lives, and I got back on track yesterday. But the couple of days before that, I said to myself, Nina, you really did an awful job at showing people. The thing is, you have to understand media and marketing too. So Pepsi Cola is gonna run a commercial, and it might be the same commercial, but they're going to run that commercial over and over and over again. You don't even, maybe not even like Pepsi, but they're going to catch you that one time when something in that commercial, the glistening of the glass with the dripping of the, sweat coming down the sides of the cup. When Pepsi, I used to drink Pepsi. I don't drink Pepsi anymore. But when you could put a Pepsi in the freezer and it's gotten those ice chips in it and it just tastes so great, right? Or whatever soda, Coke or Sprite or whatever somebody might drink, or maybe it's wine or whatever your preference, coffee. I love coffee, right? I understand marketing, and I also understand, because I've studied it, that you have to assume that the person has not seen your content. And where most marketers get a little twisted is that they think that I posted yesterday. I'm not going to post today because I posted yesterday. But when I get up every day, I assume that no one has seen it. And I don't care if you saw it, because I understand sales, because I've studied it, that the average person will need to see it at least 12 to 15 times before they're going to purchase from you.
And we also teach that in when we do sales campaigns, and like you have to do when it comes to cold, for example, you have to do 6 to 12 follow-up when, like, in order to get them, like, because why, when you contact someone now and they're not interested, that's fine, but doesn't mean that the situation will not change in 3 months, 6 months, 1 year down the line. But you have to be consistent. And what we saw happening is that most people are not consistent because it's hard, and they don't use the technology that would allow them to be consistent. And I think that's why we were able to get such good results for our clients, because we build systems that are consistent, and people don't know how to be that because of life. And when you do this stuff manually, it's hard. But you're completely right, and that goes along with even marketing, as you said. Like, they have to see your post, like, as you said, on average like 12 times in order to be like, oh, what is she doing? Let me reach out and maybe get a meeting. So can you tell us now, what is your recruitment strategy? Is it more like doing lives? How do you recruit people now?
Very different from before. So before, it was all on the phone and come to the meeting or come to the home party. And now, when you get people interested in your lifestyle, when you get people interested in who you are as a person. Because what I know is that people don't join companies, they join you. And so when a person, and I have to show every facet of me. I have to show the fun side of Nina. Because if I don't show the fun side of Nina, the people who like to only have fun will not want to see what I'm doing, right? But then I've got to show the side of Nina who loves helping people. Because then the people who are going to join your team, who are never ever going to make a dollar, they're never going to make a dollar because they didn't come to make a dollar. They came because they love helping people, right? I'm going to draw the people. So every live that I do is directed to a different kind of person. I am sometimes only talking about money and how much money you have right now, or what is it going to take for you to be okay. Like, when I say things like, I am never ever going to be broke another day of my life. And I love having time freedom. I love being able to know that when my daughter gets off the bus, when she gets home, she's going to see me. I love knowing that I'm able, thank God, I was given another opportunity at raising a child and not having to be at work all the time. So even though I'm working from home and there are some days that are a lot busier than others, I'm here. I'm present with her. And so my lives are a huge recruiting force. And because when you understand marketing and you understand sales, because I've studied it, you understand that most people are watching and sometimes they're waiting on you to send them a message because they're too afraid to message you. And so I know now that the people that are liking my post, they're the ones that are window shopping, not necessarily the ones that are always commenting, but the ones that are liking my post. Those are the people that you start to build relationships with. Social media, and I want people to really understand this. Building relationships on social media is the same way you would build a relationship if I met somebody at a networking event or at church or at a concert or whatever the case may be. It's the same. You've got to cultivate rather. You've got to build that relationship on social media the same way that you would. So say hello. You know, I don't go for the jugular vein every time I message somebody. Sometimes I'm just sending them a message to say just say hello. Or it's very important to me when someone does take the time to comment on my post that I comment on their comment, because you're building the relationship with that person. And I can be an introvert and comment on somebody's post. It doesn't take me to be an extrovert to comment on their post. It's called common courtesy and respect. And so
Yeah.
when you understand that you wouldn't walk into somebody's house and not say hello to them, it's the same thing on social media. Get up and say hello, good morning. You would not know it's somebody's birthday and not say happy birthday. It's the same thing on social media. And so stop being a robot, be a human being, and treat social media just like it's an in-person relationship. But this social media relationship could be, you don't know when the next Jesse Lee might be sitting on your timeline. You don't know when the next Nina Moorer might be sitting on your timeline. You just are too afraid to say something to them because you don't understand that you might have to be the one to reach out. Because guess what? Sometimes we don't even know what we need. I didn't know that I needed saving when that young lady invited me to a meeting and she lied to get me there, but it got me there. Best lie that's ever been told in my life, because I knew that I was going to be wealthy. I knew that I deserved to live this life of abundance. I know what the word of God says. I'm a Christian woman who understands that this Bible that I read says that I'm the head and not the tail, the first and not the last, above only and not beneath, the lender and not the borrower. I just couldn't figure out how to get myself there. So abundance is my birthright. And I knew that. But I said, I got all these odds against me. I'm a teen mom with a divorce and I had bad credit when I joined network marketing. And that is why I love this profession, because it is no respecter of persons, and any person from any walk of life can take this opportunity and say, you know what? I'm going to take nothing and make something out of it, to the point where, gentlemen, there were times when I first started the industry, when I understand how important it is to have product, right? Which is why products are all around me. Because I like having product on hand. I give away a lot of product. I just give it away because I understand that I'm investing in my business. I'm investing in my future. And you might not be able to do that right now. So don't feel bad if you can't. But what I did is I understood that, number one, you should never ever miss an event that you qualify for. Never. Because at events are where big decisions are made. And at events is where you get to see people who look like you, who started right where you might be right now, who changed their lives because they took the opportunity seriously. So let me tell you what I did. I didn't have the money. I remember the first event ever was coming up. It was in Las Vegas. I'm a single mom, just went through a divorce. I've got 3 kids, one of them in college. I did not have money to go to an event, but I heard them say, you can't miss an event. You can't miss an event. Anytime you get a chance to be around a mentor, a coach, you don't miss the opportunity to be there, right? I didn't have the money. So I went in my jewelry box and I took every real piece of gold that I had, including my wedding rings, and I sold them. And I sold the jewelry that I had, the real jewelry, because some of it was costume, right? It was fake. But I sold the real jewelry that I had to invest in products from the company that I was in, so that I could flip the products so that I could pay for my way to conference. And the first conference that I attended, Les Brown was the keynote speaker. And he was on stage that was when he started his speech. You gotta be hungry. And I was sitting in the audience I was crying, sitting in that audience, saying, I am starving. I'm not just hungry, but I'm starving. So anytime it feels like business is slow or business is down, you know what I do? I don't blame the industry. I don't blame the changes in the world. I don't blame I hate calling the team the downline, because I've never used that word with my team, but I don't blame my business partners. I don't blame the company or the products or leadership. No, I look in the mirror and I ask myself, have you done all that you can do to make this work? And the reality of it is most times when I look in the mirror, the real, true proverbial mirror, most times the answer is no. Even as hard as I work, I know that there are times when I take my foot off the gas. And when I take my foot off the gas is when I see my numbers drop. So, yeah, is the world changing around us? Absolutely. I like sports. I watched basketball all my life. And the one thing I learned from the greats, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, even though Shaq was probably awful at this because he would lift his feet all the time and travel and walk. But the greatest basketball players, when they can't pass the ball, they pivot. It is one of the greatest skill sets, one of the greatest assets that you can have as an entrepreneur in any business, is that you have to learn to pivot. You don't quit, because I'm looking at my why all the time, and my whys change. When I've accomplished something, then it's no longer my why. I am grateful for what I've accomplished, and I've got to create new whys. Most people stop because they've gotten what they wanted, and they refuse to create a new set of reasons as to why they're doing this business, right? The reason why I started in 2008 and then became a professional in 2014, some of it is still the same, but a lot of it is different. I no longer have a kid that's in college, but I will have a daughter that's heading there. shortly, or if that's what she desires to do. She's probably never going to go to college, you guys. College is probably going to be extinct in a little bit anyway, because kids are online making millions of dollars. Look at Ryan, right? Kids are online making millions of dollars. You don't have to go to college for that anymore. So Paige is an entrepreneur. She's 10 and she's probably never ever going to work for anybody, and she's probably never ever going to go to college, and I'm okay with that, right? Because now we know that there is another way, a better way.
Yeah.
But yeah, the reality of it is the world is changing. Pivot with the world. Keep your why before you and stay open and go live. Live reels and live video goes farther than a post. So this is like a free social media marketing training too, right? Because videos have more reach. And when I realized that, oh, you couldn't shut me up.
You know what I like about your strategy? Because no one mentioned that, and that's super important. And we are doing it, but so many people neglect this, and we call it online networking and engaging with people. Because, for example, when you engage with someone, and at least what you can do when someone comments on your post, you comment back. And so many creators are not doing that. And there is a thing in psychology called reciprocity bias, where, for example, if you engage with someone else, they feel the need to engage back with you. And what people don't realize, that their engagement is much, much higher, their reach. You are then introduced to their audience, and people neglect this part in network marketing. And I love what you said, that you never know when Nina Murar is sitting there, Jesse Lee, and other greats. This is so powerful, and people don't realize that. They think, oh, they have to reach out to me, but instead, for example, if that person didn't reach out to you and lie to you, you would not have a life that you have right now, which is crazy to think about it.
Facts. It's crazy. I am so grateful. Sometimes I just message her and say thank you.
Are you
But
still in contact with her? And
yeah,
how she is looking at you now? Does she feel like, oh man, I did that?
she's not doing network marketing at all. She
That's
introduced me
interesting.
to the company. She was a corporate person. And, at that time, we had a very great product, a garment that women all over the world were wearing this garment. And I've tried to get her involved in some of the things that I was doing, because, of course, I became a much bigger leader than she. And she just, it's like, that was for that time. And she was working with a lot of her college friends. We're all in that company at the same time. And you know what? Let's be honest, because network marketing has changed a lot. A lot of people don't really want to change with the world and the way that the world is changing. But the reality of it all is that soon people are not going to really have a choice. You're either going to embrace AI technology, you're going to embrace social media. Um, I don't see my siblings a lot. I live here in Georgia. I have one younger sibling that lives here, but he doesn't drive. He lives on the other side of town. He doesn't have a car. But my oldest brother and we're 11 months apart. We send memes to each other all day long on Instagram. It's the new way of communication. I don't have to speak to my brother every day, but I still feel connected to him. I hope people are hearing what I just gave a huge nugget. So I don't speak to him all the time, but I never feel like I'm not with him. Does that make sense? And
Makes
literally all day we send each other crazy memes, stuff that is so funny, or stuff that like really kind of makes you think my brother's a thinker. He's a thinker. And we send each other that kind of stuff all day. So you don't know what your post might do for someone. You don't know that your inspiration, and I get messages all the time from people thanking me for being so inspirational and so encouraging, and I'm always positive. You don't know that your one live or your one post or your one something in your stories could be the thing that stops somebody from taking their life, or your one post or reel could be the thing that gives someone hope, the hope that they need. Maybe their battery is low. And because I realize that my life is not my own, and I don't own my life, but I'm on this earth for a reason, and the reason is to serve. Because there's a good book that I read that says the greatest amongst us, he served, right? I am on this earth not just for Nina, not just for my children and my husband and my family, but I am on this earth to touch the lives of hundreds of thousands of people. And I am now able to do that because social media gives me the reach to reach people that I never would have ever thought that I would ever come in contact with. Even meeting you all, I met you right through social media.
Yeah. I want to ask, like, since we are close to finish, how about team culture? How do you manage your team? You have a very large team. We live in this, as you mentioned, now we're speaking social media world. We are all connected somehow. How do you manage your team? What are some activities that you do with team so that you keep them motivated, keep them lighting up and stuff like that?
It's so hard today. The I will say it was easier before. When I was in Pennsylvania, our house was like an open house. People were always at our house because we lived in an area right outside of Philadelphia where people would just come. They would just come to the house all the time. Living in Georgia is very different because everything and everyone is just so far from each other. The traffic is so bad that by the time somebody gets to you after they're finished working, unless they don't work a job, um, it's just a little bit different here in Georgia. But I have a culture, our team culture is like family. And when a person knows that you really care about them, it's they could care less about what you say. Really, is how you made them feel, right? And so I just believe because our team culture has been family, when we do have events, and I know that a lot of people don't understand this, but I spend the entire event with my team to the point where there are times when I'm up till 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning in the lobbies with them, mentoring them and spending time with them. I run a lot of team challenges where we give away prizes for the people who like to compete. Like we've got some people that are very, very, very competitive, right? There are times when sometimes we'll just send random gifts to people on our team just to let them know we see you, keep going. We appreciate you being here. I send books. I do a book club on Monday nights live on YouTube to give free mentorship. I believe in doing Zooms to just talk to our team because we've got people that are all over the world. And sometimes we just get on to pray together. Believe it or not, I believe because we have a strong faith based team that our culture of family and word and prayer is really what keeps us together.
That's, I think, very nice way to end this. Nina, thank you so much for being a guest. Hope to see you again soon, where you can, because you have a lot more to share, and wish you best of luck in every activity that you do on from now on.
Thank you so very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Nina.